Well, good day, everybody. Here we are on day 5 of our Reading the Bible in a Year, 2021. So we're 5 days into this now. And today we're looking at Job 6 to 9. That'd be 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, I just want to start off again, like we had set it off yesterday, just explaining why Job's important to us here. Um, it's really a place of discovery, and this is the last time I'm going to say this, but you just need to remember, because it takes us 12 days to get through Job, and to see somebody suffering for 12 days can be very taxing. Now, I say that to people who have lived through COVID and shut-ins and everything. um, but we identify with suffering. We can identify with suffering. Right? We have been given that capacity. So as we read through Job, quite often we can place ourselves in that situation and wonder how we would, handle that. And that's a good question. It's very good to actually pose that question to yourself. So there's a number of takeaways. You can just read Job through by itself, and there's tons of value in there. But we're using it to understand the people of this time, how they understood the creator, because it's really important, because when we're finished this, we're going to continue on, and we're going to be introduced to Abraham, who will become Abraham, and the father of the nation of Israel. And it's important for us to understand in his relationship with the creator, what were the really positive things, and where the lack was, because we look at Abraham and think, wow, but he didn't have near what we have, and it's to understand and appreciate that, and actually you can appreciate more his faith when you understand that he didn't have half the knowledge that we have concerning the Creator. And so as we look at Job, this is what we're picking up. Now, just a reminder that the problem with Job's friends wasn't that their advice was terrible. It was just misapplied. They were speaking to him from the point of view that he had done something wrong. He had offended God, and God was punishing him. And that's not what was happening here. So, although what they're sharing with him has great value, it just doesn't have great value to where Job is in this situation. So we start off with Job 6. Um, and I think most of us can understand and accept that grief impacts our thoughts and our words. Uh, I think we have a very forgiving heart towards those people who are going through tough times, through a grieving process. We won't hold against them anything that they say during that time. There is just a release of that energy and hurt and pain and everything that comes out. So we need to keep this in mind as we're reading through what Job is saying. And Job even understood that in verse 2 to 3 here. He says, "Oh, that my grief were actually weighed, all of it were lifted up in scales. For now it's heavier than the sands of the sea. Therefore, my words are rash." So Job understood, at least at the beginning of this, that some of the things that he was saying was rash. And that's important for us to keep in mind going forward, that we don't misjudge him. We also need to understand that Job has had a very blessed life. He most likely has not faced a lot of the things that he's facing now. The loss, the level of loss that he's experienced, the pain that he is going through, the tremendous, overwhelming grief that he's experienced. He has nothing to draw back on. Most of us in this world have faced some kind of hardships. We've been doing that ever since we could walk. We have experienced loss on all kinds of different levels. We've known what grief is on different levels. And so as we go through things, we can draw upon our experience in the past. That doesn't take away the sting. It doesn't take away the pain at all. It's just we have a better understanding of what to expect. And so we here poor Job is like he's expressing, what is my strength that I should hope, my end that my life should drag on. So this is the problem now, that Job can't see the future. Job needs hope. He needs people to come alongside and speak that kind of hope into him, And he knows that. He's feeling that. He's feeling that loss in his life, and that's really what he would want from his friends. Again, in verse 25 to and 26, he says, "How painful are truthful words, but what do your condemnations accomplish?" Oh, can we hear that? How painful are truthful words, but what do your condemnations accomplish? Do you intend to correct my words, to treat the words of a hopeless man as wind? Yeah, I think most of us could be consider ourselves guilty in this, where instead of bringing comfort to somebody, we're trying to give them solutions instead of just listening to them, and instead of speaking of hope in the future, we're trying to find what is the problem. We're being like a doctor. What's the root of this problem? Where the spirit is dealing with that sort of stuff, and we're supposed to encourage each other and build each other up. And so this is what Job is missing right now from his friends. And don't forget, as we said at the beginning, their judgment is wrong. They're judging from a wrong position. Their perspective is wrong. They don't understand. They don't have the insight that God does. God knows where this is coming from, and He's looking to Job to trust Him. He's looking for Job to continue to worship and to trust Him, so he can show to the adversary, to the accuser of brethren, that indeed it is possible, just from that basic position, still to trust and to worship God. That's his purpose. That's what he's supposed to be doing in this place, is just calling on the name of the Creator. Just, well, calling on the Creator, he doesn't know his name, and worshiping him. And Job, I don't have it here, but there are different places that he says this one thing I hold up, that I have not come against the word of the Creator. But here he's saying, now look at me in verse 28 to 30. Now look at me. Would I lie to your face? Turn. Don't be faithless. Turn now. I am righteous. Is there wrong on my tongue, or can my mouth not recognize disaster? So he's pleading with his friends to trust that he has done no wrong, so that they would speak of hope and present a future for him, because that's what he's looking for right now as he sits in that pain. And sitting in that pain, I think we've all understood this. We've all tasted this. In that pain, there can be bitterness. In that pain, nobody can understand us, right? Nobody knows what I'm going through. God's not answering me. Nobody can help me. Nobody understands me. And it just, that pain can bring this bitterness. And so we hear him saying, so I have inherited months of emptiness. Nights of toil have been measured out for me. Woe is me. Woe is me. He is crying out, woe is me. So I just write there that Job is feeling bitter toward life, his friends, and God. But it's in this bitterness that we start seeing a theme that's going to play out through this whole thing. And it's asking God to reveal his sin to him. It's like, convene a court. Let me come and present my case to you. You bring your case against me, because Job is now in this place where he's beginning to think that God has somehow misunderstood something, misinterpreted something. We're going to hear all kinds of things here now about what their thinking is of God, of the Creator, and Job, in his pain and bitterness, he's kind of twisting some of this. So this in Job 8 now, we see what Bildad had to say about the Creator. So we're learning about, in this time, what they see, what they think. And according to Bildad, the Creator is just. His judgment is correct. It's just, you won't find a better justice than you'd find with the Creator. He protects the innocent, is their understanding. Life is found in relationship with him. Any life that's worth living. any success, anything like that. Success is found in relationship with him. Life is found in relationship with him. And God is faithful to the righteous, to those who do the right thing as they understand in the limited understanding of what is right and wrong according to the creator, that to live in that is righteousness, and the Lord rewards that, and he's faithful to the righteous. So this is what we get out of Bildad's speech here to Job. And then in in chapter 9, um, it's here that we find Job stating something very important, and it's amazing that there is this awareness. Okay, the human condition, no one is innocent before God. That we should be amazed by this, because the one thing that's been handed down is the fall of humanity. That is definitely has been handed down, that they were made in this innocent place. Everything was perfect. They blew it. They disobeyed. They were removed from the presence. The land was cursed. So they have this awareness. So Job is there, and like he's saying that he hasn't sinned, but at the same time he acknowledges the fact that no one is innocent before God. That there's probably something he did in some way. He just wants to be able to deal with that. Now, this is what Job says in this section, what he is saying, his understanding about the Creator. So we understand now, then, the people of this time know that no one is innocent before God, that God is powerful, that God is the governor of creation, and it's impossible to argue with him, that God is always right. You can't argue with him. And you can't mount an argument against him, because no one is like him. Nobody has the knowledge that he has, and yeah, the problem is that in his grief, and not having an understanding of his purpose in this moment. See, Job should be doing what is right, which is worshiping and praising God. He should be doing what should come natural to him according to his life practice, according to what he's done all of his life. He should be staying true to that and worshiping. He doesn't understand, though, that this is his purpose. This is what he's supposed to be doing in this moment of personal grief and loss, and pain. And so Job then, in this grief, not understanding his purpose, turns around and accuses God of injustice. See, this is what's beginning to happen, is that Job's understanding and view is starting to twist. And we know at the end of this, the Creator brings in correction to Job, because Job had not sinned, but in we're going through this, Job ends up crossing a line, and he's accusing God of injustice. Also here, this is very interesting, is that the Job also introduces the idea of a mediator, an arbiter. He wants somebody who can come in and present God's thinking, but also present humanity's thinking to God. So to take somebody who would come in and explain God to us, and then somebody who could also explain us to the Creator. Does that sound familiar at all? Yeah, because Job here is he's describing Jesus Christ. He's describing exactly what Jesus does. He explains to the Father all the time our situation, what it's like, what we're walking through, how difficult it is. And at the same time, he's bringing to us the Father's heart. He's revealed to us the Father, who the Father is. There's only one mediator between God and man, and that's Jesus. And that's exactly who Job is presenting here. So I'm hoping making up for the last couple of days when it's been a bit longer than I intended, but this is pretty straightforward. And you should keep a list of all the things that we're discovering that they understood about the Creator at this time. And yeah, because this is important, because as we go through Abraham and his sons, and then we move on to Moses, we need to see the revelation of what's being revealed, of what we begin to understand. Okay, so you guys have an excellent day. I am glad you're on this journey with us, and yeah, be blessed in everything that you say and do today.